The morning sun streamed through half-open blinds, casting soft light on the small cake I'd baked the night before. An effort to mark my 22nd birthday. Modest, but meaningful. Dressed in a simple blue outfit, I tried to feel the joy that should accompany birthdays, clinging to the hope I'd circled weeks ago on my calendar. My phone sat silent beside a framed family photo. Lake Winnebago, 3 summers past. In it, Mom has her arm around Max. Dad's hand rests on his back. I stand just off to the side, smiling too wide, as if proximity could substitute for belonging. I checked my phone again. No calls, no texts, not even from Mom, who once woke me with birthday pancakes. Still, we were supposed to meet for dinner at Rosario's, her favorite. She couldn't have forgotten. I texted the family group chat. "Hey, what time are we meeting for dinner tonight?" The dots appeared and vanished. Nothing. I kept myself busy watering herbs, refreshing email, straightening frames already straight. Still nothing. I tried again. "Mom? Dad? Just checking about tonight." Hours passed in silence, familiar and cutting. The same kind I felt at high school graduation, when they whispered about Max's science fair trophy. At my college awards banquet, when they left early for his baseball game. But this was my birthday. I couldn't ignore it. I called. The line rang. Once. Twice. "Oh, hey, Lena, what's up?" Mom's voice sounded distracted, casual, like I was an afterthought. "Just checking about dinner," I said, already knowing. A pause. "Oh, honey, I should have told you earlier." My chest tightened. "We're taking Max out tonight to celebrate." Silence. "But it's my birthday." Another pause. "Is that today?" she said, feigning surprise. I knew her real surprise, how it sounded when Dad brought her unexpected flowers. This wasn't that. This was performance. Laughter echoed behind her. "Max. Tell her we'll bring leftovers," he called out, like a punchline. My vision blurred, not from tears I refused to give them, but from a sharp, rising heat. This wasn't forgetfulness. It was deliberate. A choice. "Right," I said, voice steady with a fury I'd learned to suppress. "Max's scholarship dinner." "Oh, you remembered," she replied with false cheer, relieved by the ready excuse. "We meant to include you, sweetie, but reservations were limited and—" "It's fine," I said. A lie. From memory, I relived every slight. Being 16, watching Mom brush Max's hair while I drove myself to school. 18, seeing them rush past my honor cords to cheer his junior varsity placement. 21, moving him into Dad's alma mater while they talked legacy. Even 6 months ago when I moved out, I still believed I could matter. If I called enough, showed up enough, loved them enough. But today was different. Today stripped away the last illusion. As I ended the call, I stared at the cake alone on the counter. Not forgotten, excluded. A decision. And finally, I felt something powerful. I was done pretending to be part of a family that had never truly seen me. What a waste of hope. I catch my reflection in the microwave door, cheeks flushed, eyes too bright, and feel the weight of disappointment settle like a stone in my chest. Slowly, I unclasp the silver necklace Mom gave me last Christmas, the same one she gave my cousin Bethany and my Aunt Lisa. Practical, impersonal, efficient. A one-size-fits-all gesture from a woman who's always had a checklist, not a heart. I lay it on the counter like an offering to a past self who still believed birthdays mattered in this family. My phone buzzes. Not from Mom or Dad, of course, but from Eli. "Happy birthday. I can't wait to see you tonight." His message glows with warmth I hadn't realized I was starved for. He notices. He remembers. He sees me. The text I'd been drafting to my parents, half apology, half plea, gets deleted in one swipe. I call Eli instead, and to my own surprise, my voice is steady when I say, "Hey, do you have plans tonight?" They're celebrating Max instead. The words taste bitter. I grip the phone tighter as I glance out the window, where a cardinal perches on the railing like a flash of defiant color against the gray dusk. "What?" Eli's voice sharpens, confusion turning quickly into indignation. "It's your birthday today." I let the silence stretch, ashamed but unwilling to soften the truth. Apparently that didn't make the priority list. Max's scholarship dinner took the spotlight. He exhales, slow and controlled. "I'm coming to get you now." I start to protest. Habit, pride, self-preservation. But he cuts me off. "Lena, you shouldn't be alone on your birthday. I'm already grabbing my keys." And something inside me, something small and aching, gives in. "Okay," I whisper. By the time Eli knocks gently on my door, I'm sitting on the floor with a dusty box of old family photos. I hold a Christmas snapshot, Max front and center with his arms around Mom's shoulders, and me half cropped out on the edge, as if I were just passing through.
Eli kneels beside me without a word, pulling me into a quiet, grounding embrace. "I thought maybe I was overreacting," I murmur, reaching for my phone again. So I checked the family calendar, the one Mom insisted we all use to stay connected. I scroll through the dates. There it is, Max's celebration dinner, 7 p.m., entered 3 weeks ago by Mom herself. "They didn't forget," I say, voice hollow. "They planned around it. They chose." Eli takes the phone, his brow furrowing as he scrolls through past entries. "Everyone attend beside Max's basketball games. My college honors. Lena's school thing." I show him the texts. Graduation announcements met with, "We'll try to make it," while Max's junior varsity milestone had warranted a full dinner party. "This isn't right, Lena," he says, voice low and furious. "This isn't what family does." I look at him, really look, and see the outrage burning in his eyes for me, not because he's obligated, but because he cares. And in that moment, something inside me shifts, a deep, tectonic realignment of everything I've been holding in. The girl who spent years making excuses, begging crumbs of affection from a table always set for someone else, finally begins to rise. Eli's voice is gentle as he tells me his parents have been asking about me. They noticed I wasn't at Sunday dinner last week. I pause, unsure how to respond. His family has always been warm, welcoming in ways that feel foreign to me, but accepting their kindness feels like an admission that my own family never truly saw me. Like saying out loud what I've carried quietly for years. They don't care. "I don't need a charity birthday," I say, hearing the brittle edge in my own voice. Eli doesn't flinch. Instead, he cups my cheek with a tenderness that disarms me. "It's not charity," he says. "They care about you. They've been asking when they could see you again." The contrast hits me like a punch, their concern over one missed dinner, when my own parents couldn't even remember my birthday. I reach behind my neck, unclasping the necklace my mother gave me last Christmas, mass-produced sentiment masquerading as thoughtfulness, and set it on the coffee table. "Let me get changed," I say. 20 minutes later, we pull into Eli's parents' driveway. I've swapped my hopeful birthday dress for jeans and a soft blue sweater, not festive but comfortable. Armor in cotton. The front door opens before we even knock. Eli's mom, Nora, lights up when she sees me. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," she beams, wrapping me in a hug that smells like vanilla and springtime. It's warm, effortless, nothing like the stiff, half-hearted embraces I've grown up with. Behind her, Eli's dad, Henry, steps forward holding a small, beautifully wrapped box. 22, right? We wanted to get you something meaningful." Inside is a leather-bound journal with my initials embossed in gold. It's not a duplicate gift given to several people at once. It's for me, just me. "Thank you," I murmur, my throat tightening. "This is perfect." My phone remains stubbornly silent in my pocket as they usher us into their car, taking me to Bellini's, an upscale Italian place I'd once mentioned wanting to try.
The restaurant glows with soft light and quiet elegance, the kind of place where people linger over dessert and conversation. As soon as we're seated, Henry orders champagne. "To Lena," he says, lifting his glass. "Not just your birthday, but your future." Nora adds, "And to finally getting to know the amazing woman Eli's been telling us about." They ask about my job, my apartment, what I dream of building with my life. They don't interrupt. They don't pivot to Max. They listen, not just with their ears, but with their hearts. When dessert arrives, a single slice of tiramisu with a candle flickering at its center, I finally find the words I've never dared speak aloud. I think I've been looking for family in the wrong place. Nora insists on one more photo before we leave. Just the two of you by the fireplace. I smile and smooth the blue dress I'd worn this morning, when I still clung to the hope that maybe this birthday would be different. Eli's arm finds my waist as we lean in close, and the flash catches us mid-laugh, sealing the moment. Back at his house, we curl up on the couch while his parents hum around the kitchen, plating slices of the little cake they'd saved for after dinner. Their quiet joy blankets the room in a warmth I hadn't known I was missing. Eli pulls out his phone. "We should take a picture to remember tonight." I reach for it. I can take it. But he stops me. "Not this time," he says, shifting closer and lifting the phone at arm's length. And just like that, the moment is ours. Unfiltered, unforced, and finally, fully mine. "You're going to be in these photos, birthday girl," Eli says, and the words sting more than they should. For years, I've been the one behind the camera, chronicling everyone else's milestones, capturing Max's candle-blowing moments at Mom's insistence, framing perfect family shots for Dad while being quietly cropped out of the narrative myself. But tonight, at Eli's parents' home, I'm front and center. When his mom returns with coffee and cake, she takes photo after photo, not just of Eli and me, but of all four of us, using the timer. And when she shows them to me, something catches in my throat. I'm smiling, truly smiling. Not that forced, over-bright grin I perfected for every family holiday, trying to look happy enough to be noticed, but something softer, real. My eyes sparkle. I look, content. "Send those to me," I whisper, surprised by the smallness of my voice. Later, when the house is quiet and Eli's parents have gone to bed, I sit on the couch beside him, scrolling through the evening in images. The difference is striking. In these photos, I'm visible, valued, seen. In the ones from my own family, I'm either absent or positioned slightly outside the frame, always trying, always reaching. 22 years of justifying the gap. They're busy. Max needs more. They love differently. Family is complicated. I open Instagram, my finger hovering. I rarely post anything personal. Why would I? My family barely interacts, and I've spent years curating a version of myself that's quiet, safe, and unoffensive. But something in me clicks tonight, a final gear grinding into place after a lifetime of misalignment. Eli reappears from the kitchen with water and notices my expression. "You okay?" he asks. "Just thinking." I choose one of the photos, Eli's arm around me, his parents smiling at either side, my face lit with a joy I didn't know I had in me. I start typing a caption, then delete it. Try again. Delete. Each draft feels too bitter, too revealing. Finally, I write, "Huge thank you to Eli and his amazing family for making my birthday special. So grateful to have people who actually care about me." My thumb hovers. The old fear rises. Don't make waves, don't cause a scene. Don't embarrass them. I show Eli the screen, doubt tightening my chest. He reads it twice and looks at me. It's just the truth, Lena. Not an attack, not a tantrum, just truth. I press share. The story goes live. 24 hours of honesty begins. At first, my stomach knots. But then, messages start pouring in. A heart from my college roommate. Another ping. Then another. Happy birthday, Lena. You deserve to be celebrated. You look radiant. Hope your day was as amazing as you are. And then one that stops me. I remember when you turned 10 and brought cupcakes for the whole class. You've always been thoughtful. It's from Mrs. Henderson, my 5th grade teacher. Someone I haven't seen in over a decade remembers a moment my parents wouldn't. More messages follow, from classmates, old neighbors, a cousin I barely see outside of holidays. Glad someone made you feel special. You deserve the best. Beautiful smile. Happy birthday. The validation doesn't feel like revenge. It feels like release. I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't asking for too much. People saw me. They always did. I turned to Eli, phone in hand, overwhelmed. Look at all these messages. He squeezes my hand gently, his voice steady. People care about you, Lena. And this time, I believe it. A lot of people. For over an hour, the birthday notifications flood in. Likes, messages, heartfelt wishes. And I answer each one, feeling something inside me slowly uncoil. Eli and I move into the kitchen for another slice of cake, talking about nothing and everything, laughter rising naturally between us. For the first time all day, I stop checking my phone, until a different tone buzzes through the air. A text. What is this post, Lena? It's from Mom. Before I can respond, another appears. Dad this time. Are you serious right now? Then Max chimes in with his usual charm. Way to be dramatic. My phone lights up again. Mom calling. I stare at the screen, remembering how I used to answer every time, terrified of giving her another reason to be disappointed. A second call. Then a third. Eli watches me with quiet steadiness. You don't have to answer. And for the first time, I truly know that. I silence the ringer, set the phone down. 5 minutes later, I glance at it again. 7 missed calls, 12 texts, and a family group chat in chaos. I exhale and call back. Mom answers instantly, her voice sharp and tight with performative restraint. Finally! What do you think you're doing with that post? People are calling me. Without a word, I put her on speaker and place the phone on the counter between Eli and me. His silent support steadies me like an anchor. Hi, Mom, I say calmly. I was just thanking the people who remembered my birthday. Delete it. Now. Dad's voice cuts in from the background, furious. This is completely inappropriate, Lena. Eli's eyes meet mine, and he gives a small nod. I hold onto it like armor. No, I say, the word landing with a quiet finality. I've never heard my own voice sound so certain. My mother's outrage escalates. What the hell are you doing, Lena? People are seeing this. Her voice climbs into that octave she saves for social disasters and polite public shame. Eli stays close, giving me space but never letting me feel alone. His parents remain in the kitchen, present, respectful, quietly ready if needed. I picked this battlefield carefully. I wouldn't fight alone this time. What am I doing? I echo, voice steady, surprising even myself. I'm thanking the people who actually showed up for me. Take it down, Dad snaps, his anger barely restrained. You have no idea how this could affect your future. My phone buzzes again. Texts from Max. Mom and Dad are furious. What were you thinking? Then another. You're making this way bigger than it needs to be. But that's what strikes me most. Not one of them has said, I'm sorry. Not a single message acknowledging my birthday, or how it might have felt to be forgotten. No concern for me, only for their image, for how this post makes them look to their friends, their co-workers, their social circle. I'm not taking it down, I say, the words unshakable. I posted the truth. Eli's family made my birthday special when you chose to celebrate Max instead. There's a beat of silence. Then Dad, low and cold. Lena Elizabeth Winters. There will be consequences if you continue this childish behavior. The silence on my end stretches longer this time, but it's not fear that keeps me quiet. It's clarity. A final seismic shift in my foundation. I'm not the child begging to be seen anymore. I'm the woman who finally chose to be seen by herself. Eli's hand covers mine, steadying the tremble I hadn't realized had returned, and for the first time, my voice rings out clear and certain. What consequences? I ask, locking eyes with the speakerphone as if I can see my father's scowl through the screen. You've already shown me exactly where I stand. There's a pause, then Dad barks. We're coming over. This conversation isn't happening over the phone. I glance at Eli and he gives me a small, supportive nod, his fingers tightening around mine. That's fine, I say calmly. I'm at Eli's. His parents are here too. The silence that follows is thick with surprise. They had expected me to be alone, isolated, easy to intimidate. We can talk tomorrow, sweetie, Mom adds with sudden syrupy concern. When you're thinking clearly. I almost laugh. Convenient how she remembers endearments only when she's losing control. No, I reply. If you want to talk, come now. Otherwise, we have nothing to discuss. 43 minutes later, they show up. Mom's smile is tight and brittle as she exchanges polite greetings with Eli's parents in the entryway, while Dad stands rigid beside her, scanning the room like a general plotting strategy. We'd like to speak with our daughter privately, Dad says, more a command than a request. But Eli's father steps forward, calm but firm. Lena's welcome to have privacy, if she wants it. But she's also welcome to have support. She's part of our family, too. Dad's jaw flexes. Family matters should stay within the family. Exactly, Eli's dad replies without blinking. And Lena is like family to us. The script my parents came in with, the one where they dominate the space, deliver shame with precision, and leave with my compliance, begins slipping through their fingers. Mom tries to regain footing, her voice faux gentle. Lena, sweetheart, we just want to understand what's upset you so much. The lie in that question is so transparent it almost makes me laugh. You don't know? I ask quietly, my voice steady but laced with steel. You forgot my birthday to celebrate Max instead. That's not fair, Dad begins, but I cut him off. You didn't forget. The dinner for Max was planned weeks ago. I checked the family calendar. I let the weight of that truth hang in the air. You made a choice. You excluded me. On my birthday. We were going to celebrate this weekend, Mom insists, eyes darting anywhere but at mine. No, you weren't, I say, and there's fire behind the words now. You never were. Max always comes first. I've spent 22 years being your afterthought, when you remember me at all. Silence swallows the room, and for the first time, I see it on their faces. The stunned, raw recognition that they can't deny this truth anymore. Not here. Not now. Not in front of people who see me. Eli's living room feels like a courtroom, the quiet crackling with confrontation. I sit tall, hands still, back straight, the weight of years lifting as I speak truths I've never allowed myself to say aloud. Mom fiddles with the pearls around her neck, her armor for power lunches and gala events. and Dad stands like a CEO cornered in a boardroom, his confidence unraveling. "Lena, honey," Mom tries again. "This is all just a misunderstanding. We were going to surprise you." "And this social media tantrum," Dad adds, "needs to end now. You're damaging our family's reputation." My phone buzzes again on the coffee table. Another text from Max. No doubt another passive-aggressive jab. But I don't even look down. I don't flinch. For once, I don't feel the need to explain, to apologize, to soften the blow. Because this time, I am not the girl who begs to be seen. I am the woman who made sure I was. I lift my phone and turn the screen toward them, letting them read Max's latest message. "Tell Mom and Dad I'm heading to Ryan's. Don't wait up." My voice is steady as I say, "Some celebration." Mom's eyes fill with tears, right on cue. The same performance she gives at charity galas when she needs to appear touched by someone else's hardship. "After everything we've done for you, Lena," she begins, her tone heavy with rehearsed hurt. "The opportunities, the support. Your grandmother's inheritance fund could be reconsidered," Dad interrupts, his voice cold, calculated. "Financial decisions require maturity and loyalty to family." The real motive hangs in the air like a sour perfume. Money. It always comes back to money. Every check, every tuition payment, every holiday gift. Always laced with strings. Always transactional. "We've always supported you more than Max," Mom insists, dabbing carefully at her tears to preserve her mascara. "He just needed more attention because of his special qualities." A strange, resolute calm settles over me. "Name one thing," I say, voice soft but cutting. "One thing I've done that you celebrated without conditions or comparison." Silence. It stretches between us, brittle and unforgiving. In the background, the gentle clink of dishes reminds us Eli's parents are nearby, close enough to hear, close enough to care. "High school graduation?" I say, raising one finger. "You spent the ceremony whispering about Max's science fair." A second finger. "College awards banquet? You left early for his baseball game." A third. "First job offer? You asked if I'd wait for something better, then went to plan Max's graduation party a year in advance." I pull up my phone, scroll to the calendar, and flip through birthdays past, each one overshadowed by Max's events. "You didn't forget today. You scheduled over it, like you always do. That's not forgetfulness. That's a decision." I swipe to a hidden album and show them the proof. Empty seats at my events, leftover cake with one slice missing, photos with no one beside me. "You're twisting everything," Mom snaps, her polished mask slipping. "Those were isolated incidents. You're weaving them into some false narrative." Dad steps forward, jaw clenched. "If you want to remain part of this family, you'll delete that post and stop this theatrical nonsense." But I don't flinch. Something inside me breaks. Not down, but open. "That's just it," I say quietly. "I've never really been part of this family. Not the way you wanted me to believe. I've been the audience, the photographer, the cheerleader, never the one on the stage." From my bag, I pull out the leather journal I've filled over the past 3 years. Pages of forgotten birthdays, canceled plans, and celebrations where I stood alone. I kept records, not to hold a grudge, but because I needed to remind myself it wasn't all in my head. Mom stares at the journal like it's a loaded weapon. In a way, it is. Undeniable evidence of years she wants to pretend never happened. "I won't pretend anymore," I continue, my voice clear, unwavering. "You can either acknowledge how you've treated me, or leave me alone. The choice is yours now, not mine." Dad's face flushes, the same shade it turns when a business deal goes south. "You'll regret this, Lena," he warns. "When real life gets hard, don't come crying back." "Lena," Mom whispers harshly, her eyes flicking toward the kitchen. "People are watching your story online. What will they think?" And that's when Eli moves, quietly, calmly taking the seat beside me. He doesn't touch me, doesn't need to. His presence is enough. Steady, sure. Silent proof that someone does care what I think, how I feel. And that, finally, is enough. I hold her gaze, then my father's, and say it without flinching. "I hope they're watching." And in that moment, when they realize the narrative has shifted, that the daughter they relied on to remain small and silent has found her voice, the shock in their faces nearly makes the years of being overlooked worth it. Dad checks his watch, that nervous tick he thinks no one notices when control starts slipping. Mom twists her pearls with fingers that once pointed out every flaw, now fumbling for words that won't come. But I don't fill the silence for them. Not anymore. I sit in it. Breathe in the unfamiliar power of letting the truth speak for itself. Some stories can't be revised once they're told, and this one finally belongs to me. 1 month later, sunlight spills through my living room window, catching on the bold teal curtains I hung proudly, knowing full well Mom would have called them loud. But this space is mine now, free from beige compromises and muted identities. I run my hand over the leather journal Eli's parents gave me, displayed on the shelf next to a ceramic tea set his sister picked out. Simple gifts, thoughtfully chosen, the kind that say, "I see you." My phone buzzes, not with panic anymore, but with a calendar reminder. The family group chat is long gone. So is the knot in my stomach that once twisted tighter with every ignored message or subtle slight. "Ready?" Eli calls from the kitchen. He's rinsing the last of the breakfast dishes, our easy morning rhythm grounding me. "Almost," I reply, smoothing the emerald blouse I once avoided because it drew too much attention. I catch a glimpse of myself in the hallway mirror. Not just the new clothes, but the new presence. Straight spine, steadier gaze. A version of Lena I'm still learning to know. In therapy, Dr. May leans forward during our third session and says, "Emotional neglect is defined by what didn't happen." And suddenly, everything makes sense. The silence, the voids, the constant second-guessing. "That's why I doubted myself for so long," I whisper. "There were no fights, just absence." "Exactly," she says. "But naming it is the first act of reclamation." And it is. In our support group, strangers tell stories that echo mine with eerie familiarity. Parents who showed up for appearances but not for presence. For reputations, but never realities. When I see 3 missed calls from Mom after one of those meetings, I delete them without listening. The guilt I once expected never comes. That evening, while addressing Christmas cards, I noticed something strange. The list is shorter this year, but warmer. Each name a person who has shown up for me. The envelopes for Mom, Dad, and Max sit untouched beside my pen. After a pause, I tuck them back into the box. Some gestures don't need to be made. On my calendar, I've already marked next year's birthday with a sunrise hike and a stop at my favorite bakery. A private celebration. A promise to myself. I won't wait to be seen. I'll honor myself regardless of who shows up. Then, on a quiet Tuesday, Aunt Meredith's text lands like a pebble in still water. "Your parents are telling everyone you abandoned the family after all they did for you." I stare at it, the words cold and predictable. And then, with a calm I never used to have, I begin to type. "They're entitled to their version of events," I type carefully. my thumb hovering over the send button before I add the line that costs me nothing but could change everything. I'm open to a relationship that includes mutual respect and honesty. I press send, not expecting a reply. But 3 days later, Max's name appears on my screen for the first time since the confrontation. I didn't realize what they were doing to you. His message reads, I always thought you got the better deal because they left you alone while micromanaging me. I stare at the words, surprised. I don't respond right away. Healing isn't linear, and reconciliation can't be rushed. But I save the message. A small olive branch that might one day grow roots if he's willing to water it. From my parents, there is only silence. The same silence I've lived with all my life, now stripped of illusion and renamed for what it truly is. Absence. And yet, as I look around the dining table in my apartment, bathed in soft candlelight and surrounded by people who choose me, not out of obligation but love, I raise my glass and toast the family we build, not the one we're born into. Eli's mother squeezes my hand with a warmth that asks nothing in return. His father beams with quiet pride. My college roommate leans over and clinks her glass against mine. The laughter, the ease, the genuine interest in one another. It's everything I used to think was reserved for other people. My gaze flicks toward the empty chair at the corner of the table. I didn't set it out of hope. Not anymore. It sits there as a quiet reminder. Some doors remain unlocked not because we expect someone to return, but because we've finally stopped locking ourselves in. After dessert, I slip into my office while the others finish their tea. The blog post is nearly finished. Finding home. Healing from family estrangement. Early readers have left comments that blur the line between pain and recognition. This is my story too. Thank you for saying what I couldn't. I feel less alone now. I glance at the folded letter on my desk, the one I wrote to my parents but haven't sent. It ends with the words, I'm still here if you ever want to truly know me. Maybe they'll read it one day. Maybe they won't. Either way, I've already won something far greater. Peace, clarity, and the kind of love that needs no justification. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't confronting your past. It's choosing to write a new ending. And as I sit surrounded by the life I built, with people who see me clearly and love me anyway, I realize that's exactly what I've done.